The real badass.
You'll know what we're talking about when you see it. Left, please.
Hi. First of all, I want to say what a dream come true this is right now, talking to you guys. Thank you very much for indulging Comic-Con and Denver itself. Yeah! Bring it up! Yeah!
Honestly, we get a lot out of it as well. It goes right across the footlights, right back out. We get so much from you guys, and that's just keeps us wanting to do this. So it goes two ways. Thanks.
Which goes to my kind of two-part question. First one is, did you understand the significance to this movie to people when you were filming it? And also part two, what was your favorite memory of working with Pat Morita?
I didn't have a clue I'd be sitting here in 2016 talking about The Karate Kid, which I always said was the stupidest title ever. Hence, I'm not a studio executive. I thought it was a good script, and I knew one thing. I knew my, and this will segue to the next. I'll answer both questions, and then we'll pass it down. But I had no clue. I can vouch for John Avildsen, who's the director, who said in front of all of us, he had no clue either. I mean, I did have a clue that Pat Morita and I had some kind of special chemistry, and mainly because it felt so easy doing the scenes with him. They were well written, for sure, but they just were easy to do, and that I learned over time. Very often it doesn't feel that way, and not that they didn't take effort. It just flowed. It was just right. My favorite memory of working with him would probably be in the scene. It was all done in one shot. It's a JCPenney 398 scene, but it's everything that happens before then. And it was like theater. That scene was like 6-7 pages long of just dialogue, and it was never edited. It was never cut. It was always done in one take. And I remember, I just remember playing that scene as authentic, natural, and pure as anything I'd ever done. And I remember that at the time, and I still feel that today. He was very generous, very funny, and you just knew this was the actor playing the role of a lifetime. He knew that, certainly even before I did. So that's the answer to those two questions from my perspective.
Ditto. You know what? If nobody ever saw the film, it would have been a highlight of my life. I mean, to get a chance to make a movie, learn karate, learn motorcycles, the whole experience was just such a high. I couldn't wait to get off the film and get into European vacation, though, I have to say. But no way could you. I mean, first of all, could we even imagine 2016 was a real date someday? We would be on another planet already? I don't know.
Hoverboard!
So who knew that? Pat, I loved Pat from the beginning. He was just super, just a funny, sweet, warm guy. And I asked him really early on, if you see anything I could do different. It's my first film, please don't hesitate. And one thing that comes to mind all the time when I think about him and my acting in the film was the fence fight scene when when Ralph picks a fight with us all. And again, we're all good. Then he throws the water. Anyways, joking though, but when we get to the fence fight, and we were doing the rehearsals on that, and I'm, doing kicks and all that, and saying, you couldn't leave well enough alone and all that. And in the rehearsals, I was doing it, but I wasn't giving it all my all. I somehow felt like I was going to wait for the action and the cameras to do that. And he pulled me aside, and he said, BZ. He called me BZ, and like we all call him Uncle Pat. And he said, BZ. He said, listen, man. He goes, when you do the rehearsals, give 110%, man. Give 110%. That way when the cameras are rolling, it's like bread and butter, baby. It's like bread and butter. And so I took that, and I think the intensity of that scene is a lot thanks to him for that, because the rehearsals were that jacked up, and the scene was so good that it was just great.
Till he kicked me in the
It was
face.
an accident. It was the only time in the whole movie that we had contact.
We had perfect, never an accident. But during that scene in the middle of the night, I took one to
the chin, and the director was like, "Finally, we got the shot." There was a round kick to his head. It was when I do the round kick and he turns his head. And in film, you kind of break the line, so the camera was was behind him, and my foot was going in front of his face. So it's like in two-dimensional. Like if you put your hand over your eye, you know, everything's flat, so you can have dimension. Anyway, so my foot's going in front of his face the whole time. So my left foot is planted, and then they moved the cameras to the left. So I had to adjust my foot to go in, but I never adjusted the right foot anyway. So he took a shot and dropped, and only Ralph and I knew it, and it was just like literally lights out. I mean, by the time they figured out that he got hit, like, I mean, the taillights were going, the lights were off, Ralph was walking to the trailer like this, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. He's like, it's all right, it's all right. It's all right. I'll be all right, I'll be all right. It's like, and really, I felt like I kicked my brother. That's how I felt. I felt awful. And I was just praying he didn't get me back during the tournament.
I tried, God, I tried.
Martin, your favorite Pat Morita moment?
Well, my favorite moment, a few of us have heard this story before, but in order to get this part, I had an audition with John Avildsen, then an audition with Jerry Weintraub, the producer, and then eventually for the studio for Columbia. And I would berate them, and I had to do the scene, Mercy is for the Weak, you know, here and on the streets, and I'd go into it, but you had to be really angry and upset. So I would berate John Avildsen and tell him what an ass he was, and I hated being there, and you were late for the appointment. And I would do this over and over again, and finally I got to do it the fourth time with Pat. And it was wonderful because I said, you know, you're a low life, and I really did never met the guy before, and I was just completely abusing him to get my energy going into Mercy is for the Weak here on the street, you know, and he was very, very receptive, and said, come on, kid, just hate me, give me. and I said, all right, you know, Mercy is for the Weak, and I went into this whole thing, and of course then, you know, the rest is you get the part. But that was the first time I met him, and he was very receptive to the dilemma I had of having to do 4 readings to play this character, which I, of course, also thought that the Karate Kid was just another name for a goat farm, you know.
Martin, did you know who the other last guy you were up against at all in terms of for the role? Was there one other, you know?
No, I never knew that. You know, the rumors were about that it was offered to Chuck, and it was offered to a few other people, Glover, John Glover.
John Glover, yeah, I think he came in, yes.
Yeah, and a couple of other people, but no, I mean, you know, to me, I was doing Cagney and Lacey at the time, and it was just another heavy. I went in there not really caring, or else I would never have had the nerve to beat everybody up.
Yeah. But for the record, they made the right choice. They really did. Chuck couldn't have done that. I'm telling you right now, Chuck couldn't have done that. No way. No way. Okay, question. Over here, right side.